Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over two new products from Becca Cosmetics. The first one is the Pearl Glow Shimmering Eye Palette, which looks like this right here. I remember seeing a sneak peek at this palette a long time ago, a while ago on Trend Mood's Instagram, and I was interested in it, and then I just never heard anything else about it. It was like one of those coming soon things that really didn't come too soon. It's just all of a sudden dropped. And then we have the Pearl Glow Highlighter. And I know what you guys are going to think as soon as you see this, because I thought the same exact thing. Now we have these Charlotte Tilbury blushers, which we all know looks like a big old TATCHA. And that's exactly what this looks like, except I kind of think it looks like a nipple cover, like a silicone one, that didn't do a very good job of covering up the nip. Like it's very obvious here. Now, I can get past the look of this. It's like kind of whatever, but it's just kind of funny to look at it. But the color is really pretty. I'm going to show you guys what this looks like on the face. I'm also going to show you comparisons. That's going to be at the very, very end. So if you're interested in seeing how this compares to some things that I already have in my collection, wait until after I say goodbye and I will have them on the screen. So you'll see this in action as well as some comparisons, and then I will show you an eye look using this palette, obviously the one that I'm wearing right now. But before I do, let's get into the information. This is what the palette looks like, and I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because it came in this. This is the box that it came in, and of course it's like a little plastic box, but it has this beautiful iridescent sheen, and I was kind of sad to get it out and then it didn't have the sheen, because this is beautiful. I love this type of packaging. I have so many makeup pouches that have that packaging, and just I'm so into it. I am so into it. I even have a little wallet that is like that. I just love it. But unfortunately, it's not like that. It's just a white. It might have like a slight pearl to it, but if it does, it's very slight. I've looked at it and thought that it had a pearl, and then I thought that it's just white, so I can't tell. The back of it is a really light lavender, which is really pretty. It retails for $58. It's limited edition, and the shades in here are 3 new finishes. So we have 2 matte, which are the 2 darker shades at the very bottom. I know that I have this upside down. We have pearlescent, which are the 6 shades in the middle, and then we have luminous, which are these 2 and these 2. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the swatches. First, we have Lilac Pearl, a luminous lavender infused with lilac pearls. Freshwater, a delicate pearlescent blue infused with diamond-like shimmer. Iridescent Aura, a pearlescent soft pink infused with shimmering pink pearls. Warm Sands, a luminous sandy taupe. Tahitian, a moody luminous blue infused with lavender pearls. Oyster, a pearlescent silver infused with white gold pearls. Sunlight, a pearlescent white gold infused with golden pearls. Pink Pearl, a luminous pinky gold infused with rose gold pearls. Exotic Black Pearl, a dramatic matte black. Pacific, a pearlescent deep indigo with silver pearls. Cove, a pearlescent chocolate infused with golden pearls. And lastly, Coconut Shell, a luxurious matte brown. For the Prisma Pearl Highlighter, this is described as a waterlight jellified highlighter that creates a pure pearlescent glow, and is described as a delicate pink pearl, and it retails for $40. As well as the palette, this highlight is limited edition. I'm going to go ahead and move into the eye tutorial, and right after I will show you guys the highlighter. Zoeva 227, and I'm going to start off by grabbing this shade right here, going directly into the crease with this shade, back and forth windshield wiper motions, and circular motions to help buff it upward. Same brush, I'm now going to grab the dark brown. I'm going to start on the very outer corner and blending it up into the crease, just on this outer portion right here. I'm going to go from side to side so that I don't get too much of this color laid down because I'm going to go in with the matte one next and deepen it up a little further. But I want this shade to be a little bit more blended out and not as deep. And it's one of those like baked gelée type of formulas. So it has a sheen to it. And it definitely has some pigmentation to it. If you use it wet, it's going to be even darker. Elysium Zuri brush, and now I'm going to go in with this darker matte shade right here. There are shades listed on the back, but I can't be bothered. And I'm sure I would get it backwards anyway. Just kind of tapping this shade onto the outer V, or outer corner really, like this whole half of the lid is getting some shade. I'm going to take it into the crease a little bit, about 3/4 of the way in. And softly blending it outward just a tiny bit. Esom W21, and I'm going to grab this color right here. I'm using this dry, packing and swiping it onto the lid. Tapping over the darker shade we laid down. I'm going to build this color up a little bit. Using the same brush, I'm going to grab this shade right here, but I think I'm going to use it wet because it's a little more chunky, a little bit more sheer than the last shade. Like the last one, I feel like had a little bit more opacity. Here they are side by side. This one definitely is a little bit more opaque, where this one I think is just a little bit more on the chunky side. And when you blend it out, it's a little bit more sheer and like that wet look. So I'm going to use it wet on the inner corner. I'm just going to tap this into place, and yeah, I can feel the little glitter specks falling on my face. I'm going to tap the excess over the edge of the last shade we laid down. I'm going to use that same exact color on a MAC 242, this time dry. I want you guys to be able to see what it looks like. And hopefully you can see the shift of it all by itself. Use my finger to kind of blend it out and warm it up into the skin. It's really pretty. So if you can see that. Wangas 27S, and it's bluish gray. I'm going to take this right along the lower lash line. Same brush, going back in with the dark shade we used on the outer corner, and I am going to connect this on the bottom half right here, so we have a nice little V going. BK Beauty 204 in this iridescent blue, placing this on the very inner corner, kind of dragging it down to blend into the shade we put on the lower lash line. MAC 221, I'm just going to blend around the edges, and then I'm going to go add on inner rim liner, Boss Milk liner, and mascara. Here's the finished eye look, and then on my lips, I have on my Christian Odette collaboration. I'm wearing kitten liner all over with Beauty on top. Going in with the highlight, I grabbed my Stilazzi L302 and I just grabbed it on the side of the brush and I started to apply it to the top parts of my cheekbones, kind of in a little C motion, and then buffed it out. Did the same thing to the other side, and I just took the excess from the brush and I kind of went on my forehead in a bridge type of motion, on my nose and on my chin. This is beautiful. It brought all the shine that I could possibly ask for, and I love the color. However, I do like to go back and kind of blend the edges of things out. So I took my Nabla Cosmetics Bonnie Mine brush. I know I'm saying that wrong. And I just went around the edges like so, and just made sure that everything was really nice and diffused because I had already buffed before I had put on my highlighter. So I like to take just a clean brush and go around the edges. But this is stunning. It did not disappoint. I was really curious to see if this was just going to be a hard pressed highlight and it was going to be the regular formula, or if it was going to be different than their typical formulas. So like, I used to love Becca highlights, but I don't usually use them anymore because I find them to be a little bit thicker on the skin. They definitely give a really intense glow, but I feel like they can add a little bit more texture than what I like. This is a nice formula. It's kind of like a gelée and powder kind of infusion. I'm not sure, but it works really, really well. I am much happier with this type of formula than I am the traditional one. So hopefully, we all know how limited edition goes. Sometimes it truly is limited edition, but then sometimes they bring things back. And this is something that I would really like for them to keep in the range, or at least start doing more of this style of highlighter, like this type of formula. I think it is beautiful. And again, I really like the color. Getting into the eyeshadow palette, I do like the colors in here. I like this palette. I'm not in love with this palette. I really like my eye look. I'm just not obsessed with this palette, and I don't really know how to pinpoint it. I do think that there needed to be 2 more mattes in here. I'm not somebody who really cares to have, you know, shimmer in the crease. I don't care if it's a quad and it's all shimmers. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. But with this palette, there's so many options in here for shimmers or luminous or pearlescent finishes. And both of the mattes in here are really, really dark. So you have a matte black and then a matte dark brown. I feel like we should have definitely had either a transition shade, or like this shade right here could have been matte, or even the pink. I just feel like 2 more mattes were kind of necessary to make this a palette that you really didn't have to reach outside of for a complete look, because not everybody likes to have a shimmer in the crease. Again, I don't mind. I like it. This shade in the crease is really pretty to me, but you could have easily made this one even a matte for a transition shade. A lot of people just rely on a transition shade, and with 12 shades, I just feel like 2 mattes and them both being dark, like the darkest in the palette, that was kind of a fail for me. Now the textures in the center are beautiful, but they're not created equally. This pink shade right here is more of like a topper type of shade. You can definitely use your finger and just go all over the lid, and it's going to melt into the skin much better, kind of like it did at the top right here of my brow arch when I used the MAC 242 with it dry. But if you can see, whenever you kind of work it into the skin, it's sheer. So it's not going to be something that's going to be really bright and opaque. It's a sheer color that kind of gives you that wet type of look, but I feel like you have to work with this one just a little bit. I actually love this blue. It's a smoother formula though. This one's more chunky. This one is definitely smooth. Do you see that? This shade kind of reminds me of like an intensified version of one of my favorite Dior holographic highlighters. It's really, really pretty. This shade is stunning. And then these down here, again, they're different. This one is more of like a typical style metallic shine without it. It has a little bit of grit to it, so it's not super smooth, but it's still more metallic. And then these down here, I actually really love the formula of. You can see those. Those are really smooth, very vibrant, very intense. If you go in with those wet, they're going to be even more amazing. So the formula with these are not all consistent. And these 2 right here pretty much feel the same. You can see that's a gorgeous color. I like the colors in here. I like the cool tone, and I like the play on colors and the shift in some of these. So my biggest gripes are that I feel like this shade could have been just a little bit better. It's not a bad shade. It just could have been a little bit better. And then I wish that they had incorporated 1 or 2 more mattes in here, or at least had a transition shade for those that really want to have it. But overall, I like this palette. I am just not in love with it. It's not going to be something that I reach for a lot, but the highlighter, yes, this is going to go ahead and go in my drawer right now. I'm going to be reaching for this quite a bit. But you guys let me know what you think. Do you like the eye look? Do you like the palette? Do you like the highlighter? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.